It's been almost a week since protesters set up an encampment at the University of Toronto. They want the university to disclose its ties with Israel and to divest from Israeli companies. The group holding an update a short time ago. Ali Chiasson is at the St. George campus. I notice you're on the inside now of that fencing, Ali. What came out of their press conference?
Well, Dwight, I can say that there was a lot more optimism last week. Today, the protesters and the university sounds a lot more stern. Actually, the university itself came out with a list of what they call serious concerns about the encampment. They cite large piles of firewood inside the fenced-off encampment area. They say there are blocked and reinforced egress points, which essentially is a fire hazard. They also cite hateful messages and speech, as well as altercations. The university didn't specifically point out any of the hate speech that they say they have observed. There is lots of signage, lots of slogans around here, but they didn't specify. These are all things that administration said that they have witnessed themselves, and to that, students say,
reducing this movement, the Palestinian resistance movement, to hate speech is hate speech. It is racist to reduce this call to action to being hate speech. Anti-Palestinian racism exists, and it comes forward in these moments when these statements are made. How can you reduce the Palestinian call to divest from companies that are complicit in genocide, apartheid, and occupation to being hateful? Again, we have cleared up that this is not anti-Semitic. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. And in regards to this being a safe space, this is a tactic that is also age-old. We have seen these movements, liberation movements, being reduced again to health and safety hazards. We have been communicating with admin regarding safety. We assure you that folks here are safe. We feel safe. I actually feel safest here at the camp, and I'm sure others feel similarly. That being said, going forward, just because we know how this tactic is being used to take away from what we are doing and what we are asking for, we will not be engaging in conversation with admin unless it is specific to our demands.
So a lot of the university's concerns about this encampment sort of echo the concerns that they had with other encampments, or that we've seen the city have with other encampments before, to do with fire hazards and the like. And so with the piled up firewood, the students say that that is for sacred fires that they have here that are Indigenous led. They have those every morning. And yeah, they sort of wrapped up telling us that there are serious conversations that they want to have, or at least a negotiation point, about their concerns about disclosing and divesting from Israeli companies. Those discussions are just getting mired in sort of the logistical sanitization and the fire safety kind of conversations and their concerns that way.
And Ali, you're talking about conversations, and that student also mentioned talking to administrators, but are they actually meeting in person with the university administration?
That's right. I wanted to ask them a bit about logistically how that goes. So typically some of the organizers will get an email from a representative, like a liaison with the university administration, and they say, let's meet at the entrance point, and some of the student leaders will go for a walk with that person. And that person will typically, according to the students, talk about those concerns to do with fire safety and sanitation, and they don't even get to the point, they say, of having a serious talk about their demands for disclosing and divesting from Israeli companies. Here's Erin with the student representatives here. She gives us an insight of how that goes.
This is a protest. We are no longer interested in conversations. We are demanding commitments. We are demanding the University of Toronto and its complicity in this ongoing genocide. If the administration wants this process to end, we have great news for them. It's a two-step process that would wrap up immediately: disclose and divest. If this administration thinks that they can threaten us by giving us the runaround over emails and in private conversations, they have something coming.
So obviously the university and the protesters are still very far apart here, and they've got something coming. We asked them about that sort of tonal shift. They used the word escalation. In more specifics to do with that, they said non-violent escalation. They're using that in terms of just how much longer they are committing to staying here. Dwight.
Ali Chiasson on U of T St. George campus, this time inside the fencing for the encampment. Thank you, Ali.